to Three Black Geeks. Boop boopy doop.
Hello, we are with Johnny Young Bosch. How you doing today, sir?
Good, how you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing excellent, I'm pretty sure my partner beside me has a Power Ranger question, so
really.
I want you to get that out the way
it's
now.
less about Power Ranger question and more like how do you jump from doing Power Rangers and then boom, you're doing like every shonen anime in existence on the stage. Like how does that happen?
Well, it's a long story.
Well, short
The
story.
short version is between Power Rangers and voiceover, I was working with the stunt team from Power Rangers. They were shooting an independent stunt film, and so they asked me to come play the part as the lead because I could do my own stunts. The camera was Japanese, the sound equipment wasn't, so somehow that stuff didn't work together, and ended up just being static at the end, and so I had to dub myself. And as I was dubbing myself, the producer walked in, heard my voice, thought I had a decent hero voice. He then asked me to come and audition for a show called Trigun, and so I went and auditioned for Trigun, and that basically opened the door for me. And from there, it was just another audition here, another audition there, and eventually I stumbled into it. It was total fluke. It wasn't something that I thought, this is what I'm going to do. It was, just going to an audition.
It's just simple as that. And and like you said, you didn't have no bearing on that you would be this big as a voice actor, that you would have this
No
many.
idea. I had no idea any of that stuff. I wasn't really. It wasn't even on my radar. I mean, I just wanted to do action films or something. So I had no idea that voiceover would become, the majority of my career.
Think you found the right place though? Think you found the right career?
It's been great. Yeah, I've enjoyed it. It's been awesome. Yeah, I've been very fortunate to land a few decent roles. So.
See, decent's an understatement.
Right,
That's a lot.
Because it's usually always the top person, and all. Like you said, a hero voice. But I was going to ask you too. Who would you like enjoy more, doing hero voices or doing villains, or
That's a good question.
Yeah.
It just depends on the role, really. Because sometimes the hero voice is kind of boring.
Yeah.
And so, but it just depends on how it's written, how the show is. Is there emotional things that you get to do as a character? A lot of times the villain is going to be more fun to play.
Yeah.
Because they're a little twisted.
Dramatic, I guess.
Exactly. So and that's more fun just for any voice actor. So yeah, it just depends on the show. There's been plenty of times where I've played roles that just kind of are whatever. They don't really matter.
Doing Ichigo, at least for the most part, doing Ichigo on Bleach, that would you rank that as one of the better voices that you did, or I wouldn't say voices, but the better roles that you have done?
Definitely, yeah. It was a lot of fun. It was just something where I knew I'd just walk in and just go be myself, just use my voice. I didn't have to alter it or anything. I could just be him in that moment. And yeah, it was super fun. There's a lot of freedom in that. In the beginning, it was they were guiding me in a certain way, but then after a few episodes, 18 episodes or whatever it was, and they're like, all right, just do your thing.
He got it. He has it.
I know you can't divulge much, but Devil May Cry 5. But what can you at least tell us in terms of
Well, what I can tell you is that we worked on the motion capture in Japan a few years ago.
Okay.
And we had finished up the voiceover, maybe about a year ago.
And you
Not
actually
even
did
a year ago.
You actually did the motion capture.
Yeah, just like the first one, or Devil May Cry 4.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did mocap and the voice for both those, and obviously facial capture. But yeah, it's awesome. And it's good. I can't say a whole lot.
Oh, I know.
I can only
the fact
say-
that you were able to keep it a secret this long, because you was like, I did it 2 years ago. It's like, wow.
Yeah, it's a few years ago that we worked on it. And the funny thing is, I worked on another project with Ruben, who does Dante.
Yeah.
And we were in Japan working on a project doing mocap, and I just snapped a picture of me and him. Everybody thought it was DMC5, and we weren't even working. I didn't even know they were going to do it, because I knew that they started this other DMC, and I thought, okay, well, our version is done.
Yeah.
So I didn't think anything of it, but then, Capcom said, take that picture down. I was like, Well, who cares? We're not doing it. You guys went a different direction.
Yeah.
But I took it down, and I was like, all right. I took it down, and then that picture went viral. Like it was a secret, because obviously, you put a picture up and take it down, then there's something wrong.
Yeah, of course.
So
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
a secret there.
Yeah.
But I guess they were already thinking about doing it.
Yeah, probably on their radar.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I didn't know. We actually had to audition for our role.
For the role.
Yeah.
Did you have to do it a second time? That's what I say. Do you have to do it a second
Yeah.
time? Go to the fifth? Really?
Yeah, we
Why?
had to audition again.
Okay.
Well, it'd been a few years.
I mean,
so they don't know if we can still pull off the same things we can do, back then. So.
See, I thought you would have had like seniority, like this is my role.
Like I was already here. Thank you very much.
I mean, I'm sure it would have been fine, but I think they just wanted to be confident that everybody would still do the same stuff.
But
Yeah, your roles don't take a lot of screaming so much, but have you ever, especially I wouldn't say in
know.
Bleach, like not screaming, but have
there's
you
a
ever
lot of screaming.
have you gone really like I'm out for 3 days because I can't talk?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean that always
yeah.
happens, but did they what anime did that happen on the most? Where you was like, okay, I'm off. Give me a weekend.
Well, I mean, it depended. There were certain moments in Bleach where he goes full hollow.
Yeah.
When it becomes the
Oh
the
God,
Bleach,
you have to.
so-
That's just straight yelling,
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
just as full as I can.
Oh God.
And full on, there's always a lot of screaming because they're layering it.
Mm-hmm.
Ichigo had a couple moments, but I didn't lose my voice in the beginning, even though they were longer because, I was younger then. It didn't matter. Really, there's only one that I really recall, and I don't know. It was a game. I don't know the name of the game, but I was Goblin number 13, and all I was doing was goblin noises, just doing that for 4 hours, and so.
Wow.
You're screaming like that. Now you're on fire. You're being electrocuted. You're falling off a cliff. You're onto a spike or whatever it is. You're doing all that for 4 hours, and at the end of the session, I couldn't talk.
Yeah.
And so I lost an entire series because the next day I was supposed to,
Use a young kid voice.
but I couldn't do it.
Wow.
And they're like, we got to recast. So I lost a job for some game I don't even know the name of.
Don't even know.
So
Top secret.
So with Power Rangers 25, if you had your top 5 Rangers that you would have on the team, what would it be?
Top 5.
Top 5. You can count yourself too if you want. I mean,
Well, I would definitely count myself. Let's see. That's a good question. They've already done the Forever Red thing.
Yeah.
And they in the comic they did kind of a Forever Black, but I would love to see that. See some Black Rangers in there. I definitely want to be in there with Walter.
Yeah.
And because like a lot of stuff they're doing right now with the Shattered Grid is pretty interesting, and then some of the other comics where they had an old Adam, calling back all these other Black Rangers, for help, and it's like, what for? We don't know what's going on in his universe, what's happening in his world, so that stuff's just kind of kind of cool.
Yeah, it's all good. It's going good. How's it going? We're with how you say your name?
Oh,
correctly?
Lucien.
Lucien. Thank you. Yeah, N. Lucien. I'm looking at you, sir.
It's a common. I don't even get mad. I'm just like, that's you tried.
Yeah.
It's close enough.
I hate.
Just think of the villain from Underworld.
Yeah, Lucien.
yeah,
There you go.
there
There
we
you
go.
go. I have to
see, all this
ask
goes
that.
back to Underworld.
Yes, it does actually. It does. It's a weird thing going on with us, but I have to ask that about some voice actors. How do you say your name correctly? Because often fans always get it wrong. They always get it wrong.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's fine.
So you voice Amuro. That's a huge,
Yeah.
That's a huge
Yeah.
voice for. That's a beloved
That's
character.
a legacy character.
So
I'm
was there
definitely
like
aware of that.
nervousness of like, okay, I can't mess this up?
Oh sure. Yeah. Definitely that's going on in my head at some level. I'm thinking, oh, this is a character a lot of people know, and
Don't botch this up,
okay,
please.
let me think about how am I going to do this justice.
Yeah.
But then once the gears are turning, so to speak, once you're actually on the job
Yeah.
and you're working on it, you can't think about that stuff too much.
Yeah.
Because you'll just psych yourself out. So when I'm actually in the moment, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
It's more, I think probably that initial email saying, hey, been cast as this role, I was probably thinking a lot about, okay, how am I
gears
gonna
turning, just-
do this, and what are people's expectations of this character, and how does he sound, and all this stuff. So, but yeah, major honor.
I mean, did it have
for sure.
did it have a particular sound that they wanted you to actually go, or did it just say,
You know, I auditioned for it, with my take
Okay.
on the character's sound. So when I was cast, I figured, okay, I guess I'll do that.
Oh, okay.
And I'm assuming there was something they liked about that
All right.
since they cast me. And it is interesting because I think the first time I recorded him, because this is all in Origin.
Yeah, the
in
origin is like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think when we first saw him as like an adult,
Yeah.
because we do see him earlier as, I think he's 10 years old
Yeah, I
or
think he's
something.
like
That
10.
wasn't me, that was someone else
Okay.
voicing him at 10. But once he's kind of a mature adult, debatable, I guess, how mature he is at that point. But, older.
It was a long
older
process for
Amuro,
him.
yeah.
Eventually, he kills people.
That's right. So I never got to that point just yet, but yeah, he does age a little bit with experience, I think, over the course of Origin.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was all for me. It was looking at the scene, each scene individually, and thinking, okay, what's going on with him at this moment, and what's the feeling I'm getting from him, and based on how it's written, okay, he's a bit more kind of reserved,
Yeah.
despondent, or whatever. So I was just trying to take it moment by moment, based on what I saw.
When you were just saying that you knew it was a legacy character going in. How big of a fan of anime are you in general?
Well, anime is really the reason that I'm doing this at all.
Oh, wow.
So I've been watching anime for quite some time. Yeah.
No, it's not, I know some people. Some of the actors we have talked to, they say, "Well, I just go in the booth. I do it. I don't look at the episode. Do you?"
Right. It depends. As of late, I don't, because I had an experience where I think I had researched and watched some of the series that I was working on. It may have been an audition, now that I think
Okay.
about it. And so I had this idea what I was going to do, and then going in, you have to collaborate with the director on their ideas, and I think it was because I had this idea set in my head, it was harder to be fluid and agile as far as what their ideas about it were. So because of that, like I'll always look into the character a little bit for an anime if it's already established in some way, just to get a sense for what to get some ideas going. But I want to avoid being stuck in any specific idea about how I want to portray that character, because that's going to come from working with the voice director and how the character is written on the page and how all those elements are married to each other. So yeah, I don't like to look too far into the role, just because I like to allow some spontaneity
Yeah, I
to
understand
occur
that.
in
I
the
understand.
booth.
When I had to ask this also because I haven't been asking this question to some of the actors who have to deal with a lot of this melodrama, because you see in the scripts all the time when it comes
What
to
kind of drama, sorry?
melodrama.
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 Oh, melodrama. Yes.
Yeah, melodrama in anime, which is a whole
Yeah.
different type of delicious.
That's just anime, right?
Yeah, it's a whole different other beast of
Yeah.
delicious.
Subtlety is not something you see too much of in anime.
Yeah. It would, when you have to get to, like, are those scenes? I want to know, is those scenes fun to do, or are they just like, here we go?
I'd say, by and large, fun. If it's as long as it's not just screaming for the sake of screaming
Yeah.
for hours on end, because that gets grating after a while. But as far as a largeness of personality, I'd say that's predominantly pretty fun to
Yeah.
play as an actor, because I don't know, you get to go ham. Going ham is fun. I don't know.
So, doing both Sailor Moons and Sailor Moon Crystal, was there any change that you had to do for Zoe Sight?
Oh, sure. Yeah, well, and that's a case where, again, you got to take each iteration into account. You got to look at what's going on within each separate project, because if I had done what I did for Zoisite in the original Sailor Moon for Crystal, it would have been wrong because
Oh,
he's
wow.
not
Yeah.
depicted that way in Crystal. It's
Yeah.
it's still Zoisite, but it's a different version of him. His personality is different. In original Sailor Moon, he's much more fabulous. He's a lot more flamboyant
Most
and
definitely.
effeminate.
Yeah.
Whereas in Crystal, there still is that semblance of elegance
Yeah.
to him, but it's not nearly to that extent that it is in the original Sailor Moon. So I did have to adapt the voice to portray that version
No.
of Zoisite in Crystal.
Right.
And again, that comes again from seeing what he does in the episode. How is he holding himself? What's his body language?
Yeah.
You take little clues and stuff like that, and you go, okay, well, this is what I think would make sense
Yeah.
as far as personality.
Definitely. I mean, is it like for you doing, you're doing anime voices, but you're also doing like some video game voices as well. So like between the two, which are you kind of like leaning towards?
If you say commercials, I totally understand because
Well,
that sounds like
I
in and
mean,
out work.
Look, a gig's a gig.
A gig's a gig, of course.
I won't turn down a commercial, but no, for me, the reason why, I'm originally from upstate New York, and I moved to LA about 6 years ago, and the reason for that is because even when I was working in New York City as a voice actor, my passion is characters for animation, for video games, and so yeah, between the two, I mean, there are fun things about doing both.
Yeah.
I don't know if media-wise I really have a preference.
Oh, okay.
I think it comes down to which is the most well-written character.
Yeah.
Which has the most layers to him. And that's the one. Those are the characters that I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
The
I was
most.
gonna say, have you ever? I want to say voiced your favorite character, but more so your favorite personality of a character. Have you? You have done that before. You have voiced your favorite personality.
Oh, I feel like at this point I've probably done most as far as different kinds of characters or personalities. I feel like I've probably covered the gamut of them at this point in my career. I mean, the snooty villains are fun, just getting to be very dismissive. But the kind of the spazzy sidekick to the heroes are fun too. There are elements to most characters that I find enjoyment in, and I think you kind of have to, as an actor, you have to find something that you really enjoy about that character, because I don't know how you can do a good job if you go, oh, there's this guy, okay, sure, blah 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 blah, okay, can this be over? I don't. That's doing a disservice to the character, even for characters I've played where maybe on the surface it doesn't feel like there's a whole lot going on. I feel like it's my job to invent the nuance, the layers to that character, so that there's something likable, there's something human about them that the audience can relate to.
Yeah.
I mean, how fun was it doing the Batman Unlimited? Because I mean, you got
That
Will
was
Friedle, you got
super
John DiMaggio.
awesome.
There. It's like,
Yeah, boy, what an honor. I mean, there's so many things about that experience that was just over the moon about. Just being in a legacy property like that. I mean, Batman, doing a Batman project, and playing Robin. Come on, come
You're
on.
gonna be hearing that forever. People will always go back to this forever. Like, like much like I don't even like you just said, like much like Amara. People
it's like
Gundam. It's Gundam.
Yeah, you might as well. It's like Gundam.
Even if it's the
Boom.
worst Gundam series, people are gonna watch that constantly. So yes.
Yeah, it was great, and recording it at Warner Brothers, and
So y'all were in the same room together, kind of like.
well, on that, I only got to work with the guy who played Green Arrow, which was still cool.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, I would have liked to have worked with Roger Craig Smith, who was Batman on that, or I forget who else was. Oh yeah, John DiMaggio was Killer Croc.
Yeah. Will Friedle.
Dana Snyder. Yeah, Will.
Dana, who was dating that?
Dana was.
Penguin.
The Penguin.
Yeah.
I got it.
He was good.
He
was
probably,
really
it
good.
just sounds like he was good. Like
Yeah. Really, really great cast. And then, when you're in something like that, which has that level of production to it, and really getting everything to be as good as it can be, That's super cool, and I feel really proud of the work I did on
Yeah.
that project as well.
I mean, it's a fun little movie to
Yeah,
watch.
and that character really had a bunch of stuff to do as far as he got to be dramatic and he got to be kind of cool and badass, but he also had some humorous moments with Batman and got to exchange some kind of dry quips with him. So that was great. I got to do all kinds of stuff as that character.
Look, you got another one?
Shoot.
Go to me.
Come on,
I'm shooting on you.
don't make me eeny, meeny, miny, you.
No, I'm
Miny-mo, you guys.
not even production wise. You said that just that level of production. Compared to what you normally do, of course, compared to what you normally do, that's not bad either, right? Doing what
No.
normal production for anime.
Right. Well, here's what I'll say. Be diplomatic about this. It really depends from title to title.
Yeah.
Some series they really take a lot of care with it, and they get A tier script writers and directors, and you can just tell they really took a lot of care.
Yeah.
Other stuff, I hate to say it, some of it's rushed, and that stuff, you're always trying to do your best job with it, but you're up against many more obstacles that way.
Right.
As far as doing your best work.
Yeah.
So, but in either case, you're just trying to do the best you can do
Of course.
Yeah.
as a talent. And I'm always trying to elevate it as much as I can with whatever hand I'm dealt. If the script is a little, I don't know, this is a little tricky.
We'll try
it's
something.
Not, yeah, I know, but you're just trying to, again, give it as much personality and truth. Just as far as again that human level that you can. That's the best you can do.
I love that answer.
Yeah.
No, I absolutely love that answer. Thank you so much. Right.
Where do you want me? You want to look at the camera, or you, or whoever?
It doesn't matter, man.
Either which way, we got everything covered.
Okay. Cool.
So, you want to start us off?
Yes, I want to start us off. Yes. How you doing? We are
Good.
with, and I lie to you not, this is actually what it is. So we're ready for SungWon. I was like,
got it, you got it. SungWon.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you made a video that just,
No, it's helpful, right?
yeah, it's
Very
helpful.
helpful.
Yeah, because I wasn't going to screw it up. I wasn't. I'm looking at you.
Self-explanatory.
I'm looking at you.
I did. I messed up one time.
Yeah, we got SungWon. I got
I'm,
it.
I'm glad that you watched the video. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Oh my goodness. So, as a survivor of everybody jumping off of Vine,
Yeah.
I don't know you had no idea it was going to be this big for you, did you?
Oh no, I mean not. I had no idea it was gonna be this big. I had a pretty good following on Vine, so I figured like I would make the jump to YouTube fine. But the level I did not anticipate. No.
Yeah, because everything after that was like, not even so much getting sponsored, but it was like when that started rolling in, I think that was like pretty much because I saw you before all that, and I was like, well, he did it.
He made it.
He
yeah.
made it.
Right, he survived. Yeah.
He survived it, man.
So, I mean, how have you gotten past through, like, I mean, the way YouTube is set up and stuff, how have you adjusted going from, like, Vine to YouTube in terms of, like, the skits, or is it just basically the same?
For me, besides obviously, I don't need 7 seconds, right?
Yeah.
The type of content I make is pretty much the same. I mean, I just try to make what I think is funny, and that's it. And that hasn't really changed, no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, speaking of content, notice there's a lot of RPG jokes. Kingdom Hearts 3 is never coming out, is it?
It is coming out.
No, that's never.
Oh,
He's a believer.
even though there's a release date, you're like, no.
No.
Okay.
God,
he's
no.
a believer.
So, are you a believer? Do you believe that release date?
At this point, I feel like they wouldn't have put a release date if they weren't sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. That just seems like a recipe for disaster, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII is coming out.
That's never coming out.
That one I'm not sure about.
No, we're never
Kingdom
seeing
Hearts 3, I think, is coming out.
My children would have kids. I would have
Probably.
grandkids.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's so good about Final Fantasy VII? I don't remember no more.
Yeah.
I don't remember no more.
Right.
It was a 90s thing. We just kept it alive.
Yeah.
So,
But-
I mean, with your fan base interactions, I guess, and stuff, how is that, like, I guess, especially with YouTube, I mean, granted, you don't go by the comment section, of course, but, like,
Sure.
in terms of, I guess, Twitter and social media, how's that in terms of interaction?
Online, you mean?
Yeah, online, just,
I mean, it's fine. I don't interact that much with people online because it's the internet.
Yeah.
But Twitter is more civil than YouTube. YouTube comments are just a disaster. But people on Twitter, for the most part, are pretty civil, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, I love this. I'm pretty sure, especially on YouTube. There's no point of looking at it, is it?
Not really.
Like I always feel bad just a little bit for everybody that writes like really put passionate notes up there, and he's like,
Sure.
He's never gonna read that.
No, I do read. I'll look at the top comments sometimes because usually it's not complete garbage because they're usually top rated, right? And then there's some videos that I know are not gonna get a lot of comments. But I really am passionate about fan mail videos. I want to make sure if someone says, "Hey, I sent that," I want to thank them. But if it's a skit, I'm not gonna read all those comments. I don't care. It's all just gonna be the inane nonsense. But yeah.
I think the one thing that you're really really good at is actually nailing how all of us the behavior of. I guess anime fans in general, video game fans in general, especially a good example was they fucking.
Oh yeah.
They fucking. Yeah. The second I saw it, it's normal. They fucking. What are you talking about? They didn't do nothing yet, and it's just what idiot. Oh, they fucking.
Right.
It's one of those things where it's just hey, it came to me.
A lot of this stuff it's inspired by my day-to-day life. I'm a big nerd. I like anime and video games and stuff. Some of those conversations are based off conversations I'll have with my wife or my friends, or just I'll have a thought while watching something because I like to make fun of stuff. Yeah. So if I'm in my head making fun of it, maybe that could be a fun idea for a video, that kind of thing.
Get away with that.
Yeah, right.
Just maybe.
Yeah.
Has there been an idea that you had that just didn't make the cut in terms of all right, I can't put this out. This ain't gonna work.
There have been some stuff where it's mainly because it doesn't end up as funny as I'd like. But that was more in the Vine days. These days I usually have a pretty good idea going in before making it. This is how it's gonna go. Sometimes I can add a punchline or make it or develop it while I'm doing it. Yeah. But I usually have a good idea how it's gonna go. And usually if I'm starting to record it, that means I think it's gonna be good enough to do it. Yeah. There have been ideas of written down and gone, I don't know if this has legs for a whole video. Yeah. But I can't think of anything specific though. Oh. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Your fan interaction, back over to that, but your fan interaction, for the most part, you like your fans.
I like my fans. Yeah.
Yeah. They're not too difficult. They're not. Well, I don't know. Are they?
For commenters, that's just that's a minority of most people don't leave YouTube comments. I don't leave YouTube comments, right? Yeah. I can't you look at a video, it might have 1,000 comments, but 1 million views. So most people are not. It's just your mind goes, oh, I see these comments. It's all my fans. So no, most people are super chill and super nice. It's just you can't let a bunch of rotten apples, spoil your mood.
I think you meant racist.
Oh, racist?
Oh, they're fun. They're fun.
Oh, they're fun.
They're so much fun.
Right.
You mess up.
Nah,
yeah. They're so much fun. They're so much fun. We've been called reverse racist. I don't know what did we do.
Reverse racist just came out of nowhere. I'm like,
oh no,
some nonsense right there.
I don't know, but it was but anyway, not just like that. Like I said, your reaction, not even a reaction to fans, but your relationship. You think you got a good relationship with your fans?
I think in my videos, besides the skits, I just do regular videos, and I try to be as genuine as possible. Mm-hmm. I don't try to put on a persona or anything like that. Right. So I think people respond to that. I think they like that I don't act hey guys, it's me, what's up? That kind of thing, because that's not who I am, right? I don't need to be that kind of person. So I think people, I have a good relationship in general with fans. I haven't if they don't like me, they're not a fan.
Yeah, of
so
course.
Generally, I'm gonna have a pretty decent relationship with them. Yeah.
Has that voice gotten you any like any opportunities, anything? Because
My voice?
Yeah, because I just gotta be honest with you, dude. Awesome.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm a voice actor, so I've been doing that for like 5 years. So yeah, I mean, I've even before YouTube, I was working with my voice.
Yeah. I would think that.
I mean, it's like the aspect, because I think, like you said, the whole thing with the voice is like, why is he not like doing other things like bam mainstream like bam? Like,
I mean, I wouldn't
But I
expect
mean-
them to be like an M&M's commercial or something.
Yeah.
But still.
But I mean, you've been going to like a lot of these conventions and stuff, I
Sure.
guess, I mean, been doing this like, I guess in terms of just going to these conventions, I guess you've been doing this like just this year, or is it
2 years now.
2 years now? So
Yeah.
like, how's the reaction, like actually going out here and people actually recognizing you and the voice and all that?
You mean what's it like being recognized?
Yeah,
I
just the
guess?
recognition.
I mean, that was happening even before I was guesting. Like when Vine became big, that's when people recognized my face, because my face was in all these videos. Before that, it was just mainly my voice. So that it definitely was a big change. Because I used to go to cons as just for fun.
Yeah.
I don't really do that anymore.
Yeah.
But even now as a guest, it's still like if one person sees me, oh hey, can I get a picture? Can I get a picture? A selfie, whatever. And then like 20 people want a selfie.
Yeah.
It's definitely a very different experience now, but it's whatever.
It's like, oh my god.
It can be interesting, but it is what it is.
Being wide out to it, I guess. I mean, just trying to, as far as, because I know somebody's going to ask the question, like, how lucrative it is to be on YouTube. I'm like, has it been good to you?
It has been
YouTube?
good to me,
Really?
but it's not good to everyone. When people say, like, a kid is like, I want to be a YouTuber, I'm like, man, don't do it, because it's
Don't do it, kid.
it's so unstable. I would say, for me, my best advice, if you want to do this kind of thing, is you got to have different sources of revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're just relying on, let's say, AdSense or ad money, you're going to be in a bad shape, because it can fluctuate so randomly with no real reason. So for me, I'm doing fine. But it can be difficult, I know, for a lot of YouTube people to try to do this full time.
I mean, was that always the aim from jump, I guess, when you decided to do this, or did you have something else in mind and this is just kind of like the side hobby? Because I mean, for us, when we do podcasts, and we always think it's a side hobby,
Sure.
and regular job and stuff. But I mean, was
And
that
then-
always a thing for you?
This was never my plan to I'm gonna be doing YouTube full time. I was like, that'll never happen. Like,
Same thing with us.
Sorry, what?
We're getting to that point. We're
Yeah.
almost there.
Yeah. I mean, for me, but I think that's good to just make shit because you like making it. That's what I was doing. I was doing that for years. Since I was making this content regularly online since 2012, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I didn't start making doing it full time until 5 years later, right? But I wasn't worried about that. I was just this is fun. I think it's funny. Put it out there. What it can't hurt me, right?
Yeah.
But my thing was always I wanted to do voice acting, and I was doing that starting 2014ish. So I was doing it, but I wanted to do more, and I've gotten to do more, and there's more stuff coming out that I can't talk about, but I've done. That was always the goal. YouTube was this weird accident that happened that I'm very grateful for. I'm super grateful for it, but it was never my intention. I was never I'm going to be a full-time YouTube person. No, it's just
Nobody wants to do that. Yeah. I always felt now you said project you can't talk about.
Yeah.
Okay. Video game.
Can't talk about it.
God.
See, at least with Johnny, it was Devil May Cry 5 is good, but I can't tell you anything else.
Yeah.
Oh
you
man,
gave me
it's a
something.
game.
It's awesome.
I can't talk about it, but there's some cool stuff coming.
Yeah, man, I think that's.
I mean, since we're at Otakon, what is your experience? I mean, is this your first time actually going to Otakon, or you've been here before?
Otakon was actually my first con I went to.
Oh, really?
What year?
2008 or 9.
That's
Wow.
right.
Yeah,
That's right. When you was coming here all the time.
Oh
man.
yeah. But,
Well, I mean, I went in '99.
Yeah,
but I
you
didn't
was-
start
you were here for the-
consistently
from the-
yeah, from the beginning. So I didn't consistently start going until 2002 when I graduated high school.
Gotcha. Yeah, I started going around 2008 or 9. We went for 4 or 5 years. So this was like my go-to con back then.
Wow.
So now being a guest, it's like kind of a interesting.
See there, dude.
Like back then, I was like to my then girlfriend, now wife, maybe one day I could be a guest here one day. I was like, that could be kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
I was like, it'll never happen, or maybe it'll never happen, but that'd be kind of cool. And then like 10 years later, or whatever,
Guess now.
You never know. You never know. I love that because we said the same thing. We had to pay tickets to come to I think one of the cons, and we both went broke. We was like, man, one day we're gonna be pressed. We ain't gonna deal with this, and it happened. Now we got responsibilities, and we don't want to do this.
Oh yeah.
Who we interviewing? Fuck them.
Right. Oh man, Pros, fuck this.
I mean, have you
No,
gotten to that? Have you
funny.
ever gotten to that point? Just like not. I mean, I know it's not like on purpose, but just you get one of those days where it's like, oh, I don't really want to do this.
At a con?
I mean, cons or just anything in general. Just I guess whether you want to put out content today or just get those moments.
Cons. I love cons. I mean, for me, I love traveling and I love meeting the fans and interacting with the fans and doing the panels, and so I really like doing cons. Even though, like, this is my third con in a row, so physically it can be kind of tiring, but I love doing it. As far as like the day to day, oh yeah, I mean, I think a lot of YouTube people struggle with burnout. I think for me, what's important is making sure that what I'm making is stuff I like, and I try to make. That's always been my rule of thumb: is I make stuff that I like, and if you like it, great. If not, I don't care. That's always been my rule, because if I start to make content that caters to them, or I don't like it but they like it, I'm gonna be miserable.
Oh yeah, of course.
So and I find that even if there's some days where I'm like I don't feel like doing anything, if I think discipline is important for this kind of, if you're like self-employed and are doing this kind of creative content. I find that if I make myself stick to a schedule, and if I start doing it, I'm like, oh yeah, I actually really like editing and shooting and whatever, writing stuff. But it's just that initial like, oh, I don't feel like doing it. You just got to push through that, and then you'll find that, or I find at least that I still enjoy it.
Yeah, you hear that, people? The stuff that we were saying. Now you got somebody bigger than us that's actually saying it.
Oh yeah, you guys say that too.
Oh, we say that constantly.
It's great advice.
We get a bunch of guys like, hey, I want a podcast like you. Get a fucking schedule.
Right. Oh yeah.
Schedule. You stick to it.
So many people are like, I want to do it, then they never start. You got to start without any promise of any success, right? Yeah. There is no guarantee you will ever succeed, but just do something you like doing. That's because you'll never achieve anything if you just don't do it. Yeah. But if you start doing it and start doing it consistently, you at least have made something.
Yeah. I was going to ask one question. YouTube, have they messed with your channel any type of way? Have they taken anything down? Have there been a strike? Anything like that?
I haven't gotten any strikes. Demonetized a couple times, which is annoying.
How?
Because YouTube uses a fucking AI to flag this shit. Now, I think they've taken like a step to like they're doing like a pilot program where basically you can like manually check off your videos. And that's actually been a really useful thing. I think that's only like a couple people, but that's been helping me a lot. And I think that's a good step in the right direction. For me, the monetization has been like a big thing. But I haven't had any videos taken down. Yeah. I mean, back in the day, it was like, oh, this music track you can't use. Like, they mute it. But that was.
Do that now.
Yeah. They still do that.
But I don't use that kind of, like, music anymore. I'm like, oh, that's just not even going to be worth dealing with. That I can understand. That's just copyright. Yeah. But the demonetization thing is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, so we're never going to see no Nintendo things. And, nothing really heavy Nintendo related play.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so never mind. I had to ask that question because it seems to me everybody gets taken out for something in YouTube. Yeah. Whether they cough too loud, whether they probably said damn. I mean, just damn. Nothing hard. Right. But yeah, so everybody had a problem. Got any questions, bro? No. All right, we good.